Namaskar, my dear friends. So, as we have been continuing the development board schematic explanation, and in last we had stopped at the USB interface explanation. So, let us continue the next sheets. So, as you can see, last we had seen this particular FTDI chip and how it is working and how it is connected to my PC through USB mini, and then it is going to my JTAG signal of the FPGAs as well as UART and I2C. Now let us move to the next one. So we have camera interface. Okay, so as you can see, this is the camera interface. Very standard connector is there, and this is particular connector which is having your clock negative and clock positive, that is differential clock. Then we have data lines, that is 3N 3P, 1N 1P, 0N 0P, 2N 2P, like 0 1 2 3. So all the four pairs of data line of your camera is connected here, right? Then we have camera, like M clock, and then we have uh, like SDA and SCL line of your I2C. Okay, if you want, you can have this camera reset button as well, and the power supply that is there for this particular camera is 2.8 volt, 1.2 volt, and 1.8 volt. The M clock that is being generated for this camera module is going to be coming from this particular oscillator, which is an external oscillator that is of 27 megahertz. Okay, so 27 megahertz oscillator is there. Now let us start, like what are the things that is needed. Okay, so as you can see, this particular, 2 4 8 12 10 and 12, these number of pins are actually directly connected to your FPGA. Okay, like D5 signal that will show you. Then we have a decoupling capacitor for your power supply pins that is there. So 2.8 volt, 1.2 volt, and 1.8 volt. If you want to have a proper termination as well, so these are the termination resistor between the differential line and differential, like clock that is there. So you can see 0 1 2 3 and the clock line. So you want, you can put them as well. Now what I was talking about is what is my, like DeFi signal of this particular FPGA. So we have, see, you can see we have camera module clock line plus minus, that is differential line, and then we have the data line of 0 1 2 3. So this is how it is connected to the FPGA. So if you want to design using this 400 pin FPGA, you can directly take on this particular pins and interface your camera module directly. Okay, so you can see, you can match it, this one and this one. Okay, similar to that, we have like power supply for DeFi and PLL, and as well as the VCD power supply. Okay, so in that case, you can see all the power supply that is coming for the camera module is from LDOs. Okay, why LDOs is the reason behind this particular, separate power supply for this particular module is to avoid any noise that can enter into the camera module or camera sections. Okay, so basically they have already generated V core voltage of 1 volt to supply the like FPGA power supply, but they are not using that one. Why? The reason is that might interfere with this particular block. Okay, so that's the reason they have generated separate voltage levels for this particular camera module. Okay, and you can see you have been, like the power supply is filtered through the ferrite bead as well. Okay, and there is proper, like a zero point 0.1 ohm resistance is there, which is going to be, if you want, you can use them to measure the current or something like that if you want. Otherwise it just provide you a simple impedance line. Okay, now coming back to the another module, so we have two camera module in this particular 400 pins. So you can see you have D5 1, so that was D5 0, now it is D5 1. So another camera module, if you want, you can connect it. So here the 20 pin connector is actually given you for your external interface, something like that, and you can connect that. So there are two camera modules that you can utilize. Okay, So all right, I hope you have a like complete understanding of this camera module or camera interface that we just now discussed. So if you do have any question here, you can post it, and we will be able to give you exact solution or exact understanding like how it is to be interfaced to your FPGA. Let us move to the next one. So as you can see, this particular sheet is going to explain about Raspberry Pi and user IO connectors. Okay. So as you can see, this is the particular FPGA bank, which is going to be bank 6, and in this bank 6 we have RASP, IO2509. All these things are mentioned here. Okay. And you can see we have like programming line as well, like TDO, TDI, TCK, and TMS, and we have I2C line as well, like SCL and SDA. Okay, so they are not used, and this Raspberry Pi connector is actually used here. And this particular like connector can give you an understanding of like interface with your Raspberry Pi board. Okay. Coming back to the next part, we are going to talk about like serializer, deserializers, and like oscillators. So what are the different parts that is needed for my FPGA, that we'll explain here. Okay. So as you can see, we have here a very simple. I will go by one. Okay. So let us say you want to have an interface of deep switches. So deep switches, how it will work? When you push it this side, then it will become open circuit. So open circuit, then this switch 0 will happen. How? Switch 0 is connected here, and as you can see, switch 0 is connected through a pull-up resistor of this VCCIO2. Now how it will work is, when this is open here, then this is pulled up. It means the input will see high. Okay. And whenever you push like push it this side, then what will happen? Sorry, whenever you push it this side, then uh, what will happen is, it will get connected, and this particular switch will be pulled low. Okay. So this is how, when it is in open condition, the switch position is 1, and whenever it is in closed condition, the switch position will be 0. So there are two states that can be defined using this particular deep switches. Okay. So hope you have understood how this deep switch is going to work. Same function will be there for other 7 switches. So total 8 switches here, and there are like 8 configuration that you can do. So deep switches are very important in FPGA circuit designs, where you can have a multiple configurations techniques. Okay. Then other parts we can see, we have FMC connector, that is like a FPGA mezzanine connector. So we have TCK, TDI, TDO, and all these lines are there. Okay. And we have power on reset as well. Then there are LEDs that has been used. So they are also interfaced here, like LED 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. Now you can see we have two 50 ohm loopback trace, 6-inch and 10-inch, which has to be placed like TP close to FPGA. So these are the two like 50 ohm loopback lines are there. So if you want, you can utilize them as well. Okay. Now coming back to the next part. So if you come here, what we are seeing is, we have the LDO 1.8 volt and 1.8 volt here as well, and they are going to get connected to this deserializer bank of the FPGA. Okay. So VPLL SDO and like VCC PLL SDO and VCC AUX SD. Okay. Then you can see we have the okay, 1 minute. So you can see we have serializer, deserializer lines, and they are connected to our external, our reference return PLL, and then TXD PF, TXD NF, that is positive and negative differential lines. And these lines are actually loop backed, like reference clock P, reference clock N, and similar to that, RxD PF and RxD NF. Okay. Now this particular FPGA will require like clock signal. So for that, there are two oscillators that has been used. One is 125 megahertz and another one is 200 megahertz. Okay. So by default they are using 125 megahertz. 200 megahertz, they have like made it DNI, like that, like not to be installed. Okay, so if you want, you can install this one and put this one not installed. So there are two options that is there for your oscillator frequency generation. Okay, in deserializer block, you can see we have, like use little or no step between the selection resistors. So you can see that these are the selection resistor for your serializer, deserializer banks, and like a ref clock positive, ref clock negative, and then RxDPF, RxDNF, TxDPF, and TxDNF. Okay, and these are the root SMA pairs of 100 ohm differential lines. So if you want, you can use these as well. Okay. Let's go back to the next part. So I hope you have a good understanding now about this particular oscillator block, and like how my deep switches are connected, or how the LEDs will talk about, because LED circuit is not here, LED circuit is down, and how this serializer deserializer bank is interfaced very nicely to your FPGA. Okay, moving to the next part. So there are various things that can be done. Let us say we want to like have an understanding of how we can connect push buttons. So push button, you can see this is the push button that is connected here, and let us say what is going to happen. So push button 0 is connected, let us say, at this point. So what will happen is, whenever button is not pressed, this push button will actually be pulled up. It means the input of this particular FPGA IO will be seeing a high, that is 1. Okay, now when it is pressed, then what will happen? When it is pressed, it will be pulled down, so it will get grounded, and this is how this push button IO will see a 0. So whenever if it is pressed, it will be 0. Whenever it is not pressed, it will be 1, and this is how, based on this particular position of push buttons, you can able to decide your IO, like understanding, and based on that you can take some actions. So you have three push button. You can see we have push button 0, push button 1, and one more general purpose push button is there, which can be used for any functionality or even reset and wake up functionality. Okay. So this was all about this push button. Coming back to the LEDs. So LEDs, we have several LEDs that has been used, and LEDs can be utilized in such a fashion. I'll tell you how. As you can see, this particular VCC IO line is actually driving the LEDs. Okay. And when this particular pin goes low, the LED will start glowing, and whenever it will go high, it will actually restrict the current flow, and this is how it will go off. So whenever it will go high, it will be off. So my FPGA GPIO or FPGA IO lines actually is going to control the LED on off. Similar to that, we saw like LED 8, 9, 10 in the previous page, and this is how it is connected here, these LEDs. Okay, so we have several LEDs that is there. You can see like around 4, 4, 8, and 4, 12, total 14 are there. Okay. Then we have UART signal. So UART signal, you can see any IO lines can be used as UART signal, and here in Lattice Semiconductor FPGA, what I have observed is they have given SDA lines and SCL line for I2C application, so you can use that directly, dedicated pins, so that you don't have to struggle to like configure your FPGA for your I2C. So this was all about the user IO button in this particular page. Hope you have a complete understanding of how to interface your push buttons or your LEDs. And this circuit has been actually designed by Lattice Semiconductor. So I am just explaining you as it is what they have given. Okay, and we'll see more applications or more design circuits based on other FPGAs in the same family in other sessions.